there are situations, as referenced in episode 40, about when we were talking about picking your niche, that there are some niches out there where your clients' clients are engaging on mediums that your clients are not. So the same tactics that you would apply to get leads for your clients or for your clients' clients may not apply to get leads for yourself. In which case, outreach and cold outreach via LinkedIn or via cold calling or messaging or emailing might be the solution. Now, it's not a solution that I'm a fan of, just because I'm not like that. But if you are like that, then we have a guest for you. What is your favorite cologne?
That's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
Calvin Klein.
Yeah. Which, do you have a particular scent?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know the name of it. I just put it on. That's what's funny. So I know what the bottle looks like and everything, but I don't remember, the name.
Do you wear cologne like when you're just alone in the office all day?
It's a pro tip I get for self-care. One of my mentors explained to me what you do when no one's around is more important than when other people are around.
Look good, feel good kind of thing.
Exactly. So if you put on cologne just because you're going to an event or out, that means you don't actually care about yourself when you're by yourself.
Yeah, I've subscribed to the look good, feel good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, what about you? What's your favorite cologne? Probably Axe, right?
Nice. Thank you for that. No, it would be equally cheap, and I would just say Stetson, probably.
Stetson.
There you go.
It goes with the Cody, like the cowboy thing, right? So.
Okay, now ask me.
Jake, do you wear cologne? What's your favorite?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. My favorite, I wear cologne every day, yes. And it's funny because when I do wear cologne, I mean, obviously Lauren knows I work at home. She always says, who are you trying to smell good for? Because I'm not going anywhere. So my favorite cologne is Tom Ford's Ombre.
Tom Ford is a great one. My cousin used to rock with Tom Ford. It's great.
But Tom Ford is only a cologne I wear when I go out. But so when I stay in here, I wear all types of different colognes depending on the day. So today was a Jimmy Choo day.
Choo choo.
Only because I am wearing this nice sweater, and so I felt like I always feel like the scent of the cologne has a kind of tone of what you're wearing. So if you're wearing like Tom Ford Ombre, then you're probably wearing something like leather or nice. And then if you're wearing Jimmy Choo or like Burberry, you're maybe Burberry, I think you're wearing more of like a cashmere. So I've never been like a cologne person in my life, but since Lauren is an executive at Macy's, specifically in the beauty department and at Clinique, they always have these like semi-annual events where they all exchange like free gifts. And so every time she goes there, she gets like 2 or 3 or 5 different things. And like 2 of them are always like men's cologne. So I've amassed a small fortune of expensive colognes that I will never use all of. But no, so yeah, usually in my office I'm wearing a Ralph Lauren polo. Very earthy kind of scent. I like that. As you can tell by my office, very earthy. So and I was just thinking about this morning because this is the first time I've ever put on the Jimmy Choo cologne. And I was like, it's kind of a douchebag cologne. And I was like, I'm feeling kind of douchey today. So I put it on.
I wasn't going to say it, but you volunteer it.
Wow, this is already going to be interesting.
All right, everyone.
When you were saying like what you choose for the day, I'm like, well, I wear the same clothes pretty much every day. I'm basically a cartoon character. So gray teeth, wake up. No, I'm like Obama. You put on a tan suit, people are like, "Whoa, that's wild. That's crazy." Yeah.
Well,
same thing every day.
Well, as you all you listeners know, one, you looked at the album artwork and you saw that it's different from our normal one, which means we have a guest on today. And this is, I've mentioned the group quite a few times now, the marketing agency owner group, and I always have to preface it by, it's the one with the fire emojis on each side.
Thank you.
It's not hard to spot. We just hit the 40,000 member mark, and Kevin, I don't think you posted that. I don't think you posted.
I think I posted 30 something.
Yeah, like 38, and I was like, but then you totally missed. We have 40.5 now. Mark, yeah, you did. That's all right. Save it for 50.
I'll save it for Monday.
Yeah. But I reference this group a lot, and the owner of the group, Kevin Marcus Miller, has such a nice ring to his name when you say all three in a row, is joining us on this episode because we were actually on your Agency Talk podcast a few weeks ago, and we kind of got led astray because we just started talking about random shit, which was fun. But hopefully we can kind of keep on topic here. And we wanted to bring you on to talk about something that we're not particularly experts in, and that is essentially client outreach. So to kind of set the stage of why we wanted to cover this episode, and Kevin, I kind of told you a little bit before we started, but Cody and I have always gone to market with the idea that you should acquire leads the same way you would get leads for your clients. And in our case, our listener, you've probably heard us say that we go to market with SEO and Google Ads. Not even Google Ads. We haven't spent $1 on ads. Well, we did as a kind of a joke on YouTube to see what would happen. But we haven't spent any money on ads. It's just all been SEO. It's been getting featured in industry podcasts, getting featured in industry magazines, and it's all free. We've never paid for those promotions or anything. We've just written good content and it's gotten published. And we've even in past episodes, we've taught you how to do that. However, there are situations, as referenced in episode 40, about when we were talking about picking your niche, that there are some niches out there where your clients' clients are engaging on mediums that your clients are not. So the same tactics that you would apply to get leads for your clients or for your clients' clients may not apply to get leads for yourself. In which case, outreach and cold outreach via LinkedIn or via cold calling or messaging or emailing might be the solution. Now, it's not a solution that I'm a fan of, just because I'm not like that. But if you are like that, then we have the guest for you. So I wanted to introduce Kevin Marcus Miller. Welcome to the Everbros podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. Good to see you guys.
Likewise, yeah. So Cody and I are not industry experts in this at all. So I was hoping you could give us a little bit of a background on you, what you do, and just kind of go into that a little bit.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kevin. I would start off by saying the real reason why any of us are doing marketing, if we're just going to be blunt about it, at some point we were trying something else and then we ended up kind of here. Like we talked about that on Agency Talk, right? And so that's my story. I was a songwriter for a long time. And if some of you have ever seen the movie Almost Christmas with Danny Glover, I was the one who wrote on that soundtrack. So that came out in 2016. It was a big movie. And that was happening to me while I was in college.
So you've got one of those like very elusive passive income streams of royalty checks.
Very elusive. Very elusive.
We had
a lot of people. Well done.
We had a cold open about that on one episode. How passive income is basically bullshit unless you have.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Unless you have like royalty checks coming in.
Yeah, royalty check is truly passive. Real estate is not. That's how I feel.
Thank you. I'm glad we shared that.
So that was 2016, and that was kind of the first pivot point in my life. I understood that people are perceiving me different now. What is this? Ding 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 ding. This is marketing. Oh, when you change your association and other people see you different, then they treat you different. Oh, and then I could charge people to teach them what I did. Oh, wait a second. What is this? So I wasn't a songwriter. I was a marketer.
Nice.
It just came a different route.
Is that how did you fall in love with it that way? Marketing?
That's how I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I still don't think I'm in love with marketing. I'm in love with being a business owner. I'm in
I'm
love.
not.
I love
I'm
being
definitely not.
I love being a business owner. I'm good at marketing. I would say I'm very good at it. In more of like a B2B sense. Business to business, but being a business owner in general, I think is where I'm at, because my next business venture probably isn't going to be marketing. I'm going to be good at marketing it though. Cause that's what I'm good. So,
Nice.
so what are you up to now? I know in your group, you post some, I honestly haven't like super looked into your entire service offering. So why don't you give us a cue into like what you actually do now?
100%. Let me bridge a little bit. So I know there's kind of a huge gap there. It's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, do that.
So songwriter, graduated school. I'll speed the story up. Had some health challenges. I'm a 12-time sudden cardiac arrest survivor. What that basically means is that my heart stopped. I was in an induced coma after playing basketball in 2019. And through that process, that's what forced me to be an entrepreneur, right? So I couldn't go back into the office. I was working at Microsoft at the time, and that process led me to entrepreneurship. Started my own first agency. We were doing web design first. That process realized this is very time intensive, right? You got to be involved and have a great team. Too time intensive for my health challenges. So then I pivoted to virtual assistance agency. And then we're now on the pivot number 3, LinkedIn marketing. So I do LinkedIn makeovers. I basically turn your LinkedIn profile into a Rolls Royce from a minivan in 7 days. That's what I do.
Nice. I have the worst LinkedIn profile. I don't even have a banner. I just have it as like bling. But I also hate LinkedIn.
I mean, it's all I love LinkedIn because I feel like it saved me.
Yeah. I get that.
It,
Cody, you had an awesome LinkedIn bio at one point, but then you changed it because you're a pussy.
Just
it was awesome.
Fired today. Today shit on Cody as much as possible.
But no, it was. I'm saying it was awesome, but then you changed it because you're like, maybe I should be a little more professional. And to a point, I do agree.
It was because of the Japanese thing. Like I had more and more Japanese businessy interest stuff going on, where I could no longer be as facetious as I normally am, because they just don't take it the same way. Like here, when I'm sarcastic and witty like that, it's seen that way. But in Japan, I'm just being rude. So doesn't really get to fly in the same way.
He had in his bio, you had you like literally said, I've never liked LinkedIn or the people on it because I would see them get drunk on Saturdays on Facebook and then post a picture of them in a suit on Mondays. And
yeah, I said that.
And I was like, this is amazing. I like this a lot.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And that's good storytelling.
Yeah.
There is still a little bit of snark on there though. I see let's see, it says, my work preferences are a bit quirky. I hate sales and attending conferences / large business social events. I like being in the background, building systems, processes, and procedures at 2 a.m. If you're doing background research to message me and pitch, you've got the wrong guy.
Nice.
I'll accept that. I like that.
That's solid.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to use repel marketing on LinkedIn. It works because it filters,
Yeah. Kevin, do you do a LinkedIn makeover? I see you posting a lot of like screenshots of
outreach. Yeah.
Of outreach.
We have a training program. Yep. So we have a coaching program essentially where I teach other people how to do it. And then eventually, if they graduate through that, then I invite them to work with me one-on-one. But let me be very blunt. That is absolutely not my preference. I like people to be in charge of their own marketing so they can point the finger at themselves when they decide to not do their follow-up, right? That's very common on LinkedIn. People will send them a bunch of messages and they'll never call or email any of the leads. And then they wonder why nobody closed.
Jeez.
It's ridiculous. Like that's the mindset.
I'm a huge dick to people who solicit to me on LinkedIn.
Are you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, not anymore so much. More it's just on Facebook. Now on LinkedIn, I just ignore it. But like, actually, it changed once we started this podcast. Because once we started this podcast, I would just connect with everybody and then just ignore their messages. Because once they connect with me and I start sharing this podcast on LinkedIn, it's like, hey, I just hit a whole network of marketers that will now listen to this podcast, or at least are connected with me, and now it's in their newsfeed. But overall, I do ignore people on Facebook, or I do, because most of the people on Facebook are just worse. Like they're just,
You know what's so funny, bro? They're literally the same people. That's what's so funny about the whole thing. right?
Oh, just the way they position their message is different because it's the
Exactly. Like
platform.
it's all the same 6 billion people, right, on the planet that have a Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. It's just the way that they want other people to perceive them is way more cringe, like Cody was saying. Like, you're absolutely right, Cody. Like, I always tell people, it's kind of like people want to show up to a car show, right? And they want to win everything immediately. And they're going to announce that they entered the room and it's a silent auction. Like, why are you announcing yourself right now, bro? Sit your ass down.
Why has LinkedIn been your go-to strategy for outreach?
Yeah, that's a great question. The main reason in particular is because, for whatever reason, when it comes to business conversations in particular around my personality, people like my personality in the DM, they hate my personality on the feed.
Tell us what the difference is.
Yep. So in the outreach mechanism that I like to use, I'm using humor.
Okay.
Yep. So perfect example. One of my clients, they are they do real estate investing, and they're trying to target doctors. So what we tried there, and the approach was, we asked them a funny question, right? Grey's Anatomy or Scrubs?
Scrubs.
Get them to smile immediately.
Yeah, Scrubs.
See that? You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes people like, oh, they're not listening to me.
Well, it makes people respond too.
Yeah.
And there's a right answer. So
Yeah.
That's funny. So that approach works really well for me and like what feels good in my spirit. That's all. So that's how I usually do outreach for myself and clients. And then if someone ghosts me, I'll just say something like Lauren Tickner on Agency Talk. She said it perfectly. She says, hey, did I just get ghosted? And it just works so well, because if you're talking to somebody that's going to do good business with you, they're going to laugh and know that they made a mistake. If they're arrogant and it was never going to work out, and it was never going to work out, there was no alignment in personality, and it was going to be a nightmare on the sales call because the status, the power dynamics off, then they're going to get offended, send you a voice note and say, you sent me too many follow-ups. How dare you do that? How dare you say something like that? And that's perfect for me, because that's what I want.
You want that reaction?
I want to repel those kind of people immediately. They will never get along with me.
Yeah.
Right? You guys know my personality, right? Like, so they would never get along with me on a sales call, because I'm going to be, my whole thing is extreme ownership, given what I've been through in my life. Yep. I just don't gel well with people who can't take ownership of their feelings.
Yeah, I usually, like, I have gotten those, like, did you ghost me or something like that, and then like or similar messages, and I do
only if let me caveat that, because this is a big mistake. Only if they replied, I send that. If they replied and showed interest and then ghosted me.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Huge context.
Okay. Because I get a lot of like, where like I'll read messages, and then like I'll just open them to get the notification cleared, and then I've seen people go like, hey, I see you message. You notice I messaged, like, what's up? Like, do you not find value in this? And I will reply and I'll say, nope, period. And then that's it.
Yeah. See, that's why I wanted to clarify for people listening. Guys, I'm not talking about those corny automated messages where you're like, hey, did you see the message? No. I'm talking about if someone said, yeah, I want more information. You send the information and then they ghost you. Then I say, hey, did you ghost me? Because now you're actually being disrespectful.
But I feel like the majority, I mean, what's the actual response rate? Because I would assume you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? Like that's
correct.
That's can you give the audience just what is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and then two, what is like the actual response rate of some of these DM blasts?
For sure. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator is basically basic LinkedIn on steroids. What I mean by that is, it's $90 a month. You hop in there and you're now able to hyper target companies by filters such as, hey, I want to target anybody who has a company headcount of 11 to 50, who lives in Georgia, who uses the platform Salesforce. So that lever that you can pull is so deep and great for enrichment. And I think a lot of people don't quite understand, if you're savvy enough and you're doing outreach on multiple platforms, that's your filtering mechanism, SalesNav. Because then you can scrape the emails if you're savvy, right? You and I, we're all savvy marketers here. You can then scrape the emails right from SalesNav, boom, and now you have a beautiful spreadsheet of filtered data based on almost intent.
Right. Well,
Right.
yeah, in market attribution or
Exactly.
affinity.
Affinity. There you go. Exactly. So that's kind of the concept.
This is really good. I'd like to go back a little bit first, though, just so.
Yeah.
Kevin, you have a really cool story. I don't want to go totally into it, just because, like,
yeah,
I think you're a business wizard, and I don't want to detract with your health things from that story. And I want to focus primarily on business. So I will just say, look, guys, you have a little bit on your website, right? Allapproach.com, a little bit about it, that if people want to read, they can there. But even before you got to the LinkedIn portion, you mentioned the like VAs. So can you give us a timeline of how long this took to get you to where you are now with the LinkedIn agency approach, and how many years you spent in the middle of those various places before getting to this one right here? I just want to, we talk about this a decent amount, where people, they compare their step 1 to somebody's step 50. So I just want to make sure that people aren't doing that when they hear about your success and thinking like, oh, why am I not doing as well as Kevin? Well, Kevin's been doing this for a while, right? He's not totally new. So could you tell us a little bit about that first?
100%. Hey, thanks for bringing that back. I think that's important.
I like to just jump a million miles ahead, and then I just pray
I
the
watched the
listener
episode, so I know what's happening here. So I love it. Thank you.
Cody always brings it back. He's always like, hold on, chill, bro.
He's got his list. He's like, let's go. This is what I want to know. I'm like, we got to give him a little something. I'm like an FBI interrogator, man. I'm going to waterboard you to get the answers I need. Yep.
Yeah, this is so fun, y'all. It's having a great time.
Good.
Okay, so 2015. Let's go back a little bit. 2015, I was in college. And I kid you guys, this is I hate that I have to say this story, but it's important. Okay. At this particular time in my life, I was so popular on campus that I could literally, and this happened, I had a final exam. And I literally told the professor, listen, I'm auditioning my music for Fast and Furious 7. I'm not going to be able to do this final exam.
That's so cool.
And he said, absolutely no problem.
What?
And I knew I was going to fail the class too. And that's the beautiful part about knowing yourself. I knew that I was going to be a big deal one day because I had the confidence and the skill set, but my arrogance was out of control. So that's important for context. That's how I started. That's how I came in on 10. Like, just hot. Being blunt, came in hot. So some of you listening right now are like me. You came in hot. You were a big shot on campus. That was me.
Well, to be fair, that is extremely cool, right? So.
I had an experience like this in my quantitative methods for business decision-making class, actually. It's just called quant for short. There were only like 3 kids in the entire class. I say kids, 3 people. 3 people in the entire class that knew what the hell was going on. So like prior to this, I had taken statistics, and I entered that class with 106%. So I was very good at statistics. So when I got to quant, which is basically statistics for business, I like within the first half of the semester, I was the only A student. And then we started up with like 30 students. There were 15 by this time. And we were all in like these small groups. Like I had just 3 people in our group. It was me and 2 other girls. And we got to pick our partners for the semester. Like these when we got broken up into small groups, this is who it was going to be. And it got to the point where we were the only people that had a B or higher in the entire class. Everybody else had D's and C's and F's. And all we had to do to the professor was tell him that we're not ready for a test coming up, and he would postpone it for like a week or 2 weeks. And so we started getting like bribes and solicitations from the other students to have us postpone the test.
Wow. Wow.
Jake
That's
also
legit.
is feeling himself, but
Yeah, brother. And let's be blunt. Let's be direct. If you want to really be successful in this, you got to feel yourself, but then reel it back one notch.
Mhm.
Go there in your mind, know that you were amazing and you have skills and all these things, then dial it back one notch. My problem at that time was I didn't know how to dial it back one notch. So I was out there wilding out, enjoying myself, my college self, all those things. So I graduated, and guess what happened? I'm not the man anymore. I'm now a security guard.
Was speak as if you know everything and listen as if you know nothing.
Correct. So my ego was hurt. I was a security guard in a Microsoft building, funny enough.
oh, okay.
So that, isn't that funny? I don't know
Yeah. You started as a security guard and work your way to what, event planning or something? What was it?
I was in project management. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that transition of my inertia, right? And also the way I felt about myself. I'm building momentum. I'm doing my thing. I'm understanding what the pivots are. First pivot had to do with songwriting, right? Okay, it looks like there's not a ton of money in songwriting. The real money when it comes to music business is starting a service-based business based on the credibility, right? And the notoriety you get from working with A-level brands.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, great, I wrote a song for MTV Catfish. Great, I wrote a song for VH1, right? Then putting those logos on your resume when you're doing social media content, that tells people and it signals to people, oh, this is someone I should actually pay attention to and respect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Is about what's that connection point to make sure that people dial in your association and treat you the way that you want them to be treating you. And that's what, when you do LinkedIn outreach, they're sensing all that because all that's on my profile and they can see, oh, this guy has 40,000 people in his group. You know, he has a story, he's a 12-time sudden cardiac arrest survivor. He's somebody that people want to engage with. So all of those things play a part when you send that message, whether they're going to ignore you or not.
So, yeah, I think that's important for people to know, the social proof aspect of once you get those connections, the publications, featuring them on your website so people know.
Yeah.
It lends you that credibility when you're starting from zero, especially if you don't have a big client pool yet, and you're just trying to show people that you're legitimate and worth working with.
Right.
So when you were doing that for music, especially, was it just solopreneur? Was it just you? Did you want to build a team? Did you build a team?
I built a team. Yeah, I put my roommate and we started doing songs together. And then, he would do the piano and this, and then I would write the lyrics. So we were building a little super team. And at one point, I had Grammy-winning writers on my team, and we were doing amazing work. And then I realized, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm the only one with business acumen here. That's a problem. That's a real problem because they don't have the same goal as me.
Yeah, I feel like
I want to be in music business. They want to write songs.
I feel like that's agency owners now. Like, I feel like everyone's like, I can sell marketing services or I can perform marketing services, but then like they're just awful business owners.
Correct. That's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, great, you can do SEO. But then they say, oh, I want to actually own an SEO business. That's a completely different thing. They're not related.
And we've got a podcast topic coming up. I can't remember if we already did it or not, but it's basically like we did it. It's like if you're a business owner, you will lose your authority and knowledge in the thing that you started the business with. Like you will.
That's deep.
Yeah, if you are an expert in SEO, there will be a time where you are no longer an expert in SEO because you are now an expert in running a business. And if you're if you're never prepared for that, you will never have that large business that you set out to get. And maybe you want to be that SEO person, until your 60s. But
yeah. So Kevin, did that happen to you? Like, did you hit a point where, when it came to music, well, it sounds like you were also producing.
Did you get to the point where you just sucked at making music, or what?
did you get tired of it?
I love how you asked that, bro. So here's what really happened. I'll just be direct. I started racking up a lot of placements. Like at one point I had 5 in 1 week. That's a lot. So VH1, Telemundo, like all in 1 week. And I was the only one excited about it. And I realized there was a clear disconnect here. Like my goal was to be a business owner and have credibility so I can network and do what I want in the entertainment industry, AKA pull a DJ Khaled. That was my vision, right? I don't care if I'm good at the piano or not. Who cares? No one cares or knows what he does, but they know he makes hits.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to
All
do.
you got to say is your name over and over again.
Kevin Miller.
Yeah, that's it.
We the best.
What's the DJ Khaled? Another one. There you go.
Another one. Don't play yourself. So that's what happened, right? And there was a disconnect, and then I started falling out of love. That's hard for those of you who are music people like me. I definitely started falling out of love with the actual process and the healing behind why we even started making music in the first place. We just wanted to have fun and heal and feel good about ourselves and enjoy the sound, right? But at some point, that just completely, it didn't feel good in the spirit anymore. The alignment started to have a disconnect. So then I, had what I, had happened with my heart and all that. And so that was very difficult, man. That was like, I always tell people most people have heard the saying, life is short, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you've been through something like what I've been through, you're going to think life is short. But really, at the core of what that actually means, life is just urgent to those who choose for it to be.
Yeah. So did you no longer think life is short now, right? Because you were like, because you had a heart attack, and then now you're like, God, this thing is too fucking long.
There you go. I mean, that was the long, bro. Having a cardiac arrest, I had 9 of them in 7 minutes. That was the longest 7 minutes of my whole life, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like 70 years.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, like this is intense. Like, and this is just for context for people to understand, it's like, how did you survive 7 or whatever? What happened? So I have a device that actually shocks me back to life, right? It's the same concept as an AED machine. So if you guys ever seen those machines at the gyms, that's actually in my body, like implanted inside of me. So that went off like 5 times. And so it's a very violent experience, very traumatizing. It scares everyone around you. And so if you're lucky enough to survive that, your perspective is just going to be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way around that. So I've done my best and recovered and still do, therapy and all kinds of things. And there's no shame in that. Anybody listening that's been through some real shit, man, no shame in it. No shame in it. So that's what I'm really focused on. And that's why I transitioned from the VA agency, because as you guys know, if you're going to manage people, if you have 20 people under you, that means you're responsible for 20 mortgages and 20 people's time and emotions. And that's way too much for a 12-time sudden cardiac arrest survivor, because I need to conserve energy. The name of the game for me to live as long as possible is to literally conserve as much of my energy as possible. Mm-hmm. That's why LinkedIn is brilliant for me, because I can conserve energy and just reach out to the people that are in alignment.
So, I'd like to ask why, or not why, how your service offerings are structured right now, and how you're experiencing them on the back end. So, like, you've got kind of 2 things split out from what I can tell. And tell me if I'm missing anything. But you have some consulting, you've got a course, and then one that's more hands-on, like a high ticket. Mm-hmm. It's still consulting, but you're much more involved, is what I'm guessing.
Implementation, exactly.
Okay. What's the split internally? And I, tell me if I'm wrong, like correct me, but as I understand it, this business model was a good approach and a good strategic avenue to match your lifestyle and kind of what you 100%. Need.
It's what I need. It's not because at one point, man, I remember like when I was really chugging this thing and I didn't know how, like what my limits really were, because it was new. Back when it was still new, we had 24 VAs managed under myself and 2 people between me and them, right? So that was just not sustainable. The pivot, and the beautiful pivot I'm at now is, okay, everybody for the most part comes through the $69 course. that gives me the opportunity to filter out who's actually serious and deserves my time one-on-one.
How did you pick $69 as a price?
So this is a great story. I ran a special on my email blast where I said, hey, it's $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, like 30 people signed up in 1 month. I was like, that's interesting. What if I raise it to 20? Oh yeah, okay, so it's still working. And I noticed the most serious people stayed for 3 months. Oh, that's $60. Okay, the value of this thing is $60. Charge $60 up front, regardless. So then that way, if people don't actually do what they say they're going to do and show up for the course, because the course is actually a weekly call, it's a live course.
Yeah.
Then it's not on me, right? You see what I'm saying? Because that's what I noticed is like people say they want to do something, bro. Nowadays, they don't do it.
See, I would just thought it because it was a joke. So like 69, like because then my next tier package would be 420.
You're funny, bro. No, that's genius.
All right, sorry, I interjected. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, so then I move them through, like Cody. I move them through to the next layer, which is a one-on-one with me for 300. And that's where the magic happens. That's where we connect. We talk about my story, their story. You know, what are their actual goals? Is their business in alignment with their lifestyle? So I just had one yesterday with Dominique. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like, you don't know where people are really at in their life. And that's an opportunity for me to also serve on a much higher level where I get to feel good about me too. So selfishly, it serves where I'm at in my lifestyle and what I want out of even owning a business, which is to help people on a one-on-one basis, way past business strategy. Like, I'm talking to them about their family, you know, what's going on with their self-esteem, those kind of things. Cause that's what I really want to connect with people through my story anyway. Right.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing? You don't have to, but I do, just if you would, like internally, what's the split of where your
like how much percentage
for? Yeah, like how much is it the lowest tier people are paying that?
Yeah, I can give you guys the percentages, no problem. Obviously, I won't give real numbers. By the way, I used to do that. I don't know if you guys know that, where you would tell people how much revenue you made and stuff. I actually got extorted. So now I don't say that anymore.
You got extorted?
Yeah, it was very serious, bro. Like they hit up my whole family. I told everybody, you know, when I first hit my first 10K month, I posted it online. And then all of a sudden, somebody from my past in music world, right?
That's insane.
So that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, I don't mind giving the percentage, but obviously I won't give the actual number.
Yeah, we still give out numbers, but when we hit my goal is the Inc. 5000 list, fastest growing companies. Nice. And if we hit that, I mean, we'll
love it.
Our numbers are going to be out there anyways.
It's public anyway. Exactly. So, and there's much more protection at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Percentage split. So for the 69, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I ruined it for you.
You ruined it for me, bro. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. For the LinkedIn Power Accelerator course.
There we go.
It's
your MVP, right?
Which is
viable product.
Yeah.
So
the baseline.
Right. So the baseline, typically, right, anywhere between 20 and 30 of those come through the pipeline every month.
Okay.
Right. And that's about, I would say, like 60% of the revenue for the year. Then what happened, or sorry, not 60% of the revenue, the volume of people, right? So the volume, for example, like we have about 350 people that have been new customers this year, for example. So of those 350 people, about 60% are purchasing the 69, right? Then from there, about 20% are going to purchase the one-on-one, right? So it filters to 60, 20, and then 20% the high ticket. So it's beautiful because you're getting a lot. It's like a funnel, right? You move them through. So 60%, okay, 20, and then 20. And it's beautiful also because as you guys know, with running an agency, it's really hard to tell up front on a sales call if they're all saying the right things you want to hear. I'm going to be a great client. I'm going to do this. And then you find out they're actually a nightmare.
Oh yeah. No one, whoever has said they're going to be a great client has turned out to be a great client.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So that I was getting a lot of that in the past, and I needed a way to filter that.
If a client comes to me and says like, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you ever," and I'm like, "You're going to be the perfect client," because the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, bro. You know exactly what I'm saying. But yeah, anyway, 60, 20, 20.
Let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn then, because that is what we're finally back to what Jake originally wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like Jake mentioned, we're not big on outreach. It's just not really our thing, and partly because we don't know too, right? I mean, you go with what you know, and when you grow into something, you keep growing into it,
right?
And so, what would you recommend that, or who would you recommend?
Right, which niches?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about that. I know you guys were talking about that on episode 40, right?
Did you actually read Cody's mind there, or Cody, did you just go with it? Because I had no idea where you were going with that.
No, I wanted to know who this is kind of ideal for.
No, I was just paying attention to what you were saying. I'm really locked in right now.
That's one of us.
You're funny. That's one of us. So, dude, this is so fun.
This is normal. This is every day. This is how we live.
Every Friday.
You guys that aren't here, maybe listen to audio only. Like, this is a great thing. Imagine. I usually get on calls and it's, "How are you today? Good. Tell us about your business."
Yeah, right, the opposite of what we want to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're different. That's a word for it.
I love it.
All right.
Built different.
Continue.
So, yeah, guys. So if you're listening, listen. If you're targeting plumbers, John the plumber is not going to be on LinkedIn, homie. Okay,
fair point.
Just a little common sense goes a long way here, right? So think through. Okay, people who are doing physical labor or brick and mortar, chances are it's going to be more difficult because they're going to be away from the internet. They're going to be running their store. They're going to be doing whatever. They're going to be hiring more contractors, more plumbers, whatever. So typical rule of thumb, and it's not all the way across the board, just majority, if they have a physical business, right? Especially if they're doing some old school like plumbing, what's another one?
Landscaping.
Sewer, landscaping. Yep.
Chimney sweeping.
It's going to be harder. It's going to be way harder. So I would focus on things that are like online products, coaching, service-based things like marketing services, advertising services.
I feel like real estate would be the niche here.
Real estate's perfect for LinkedIn. Yep.
So consulting too, just in general.
Consulting. Yep. Resume writing. Recruiting is perfect for LinkedIn. Perfect. That's
why everybody goes back to LinkedIn, right? I mean, even if they ghost LinkedIn for 2 years, when they're like, it's time to dust off the resume, get my life back together.
Exactly. Even if you're a marketer doing recruiting services, right, and you're doing Facebook ads or whatever you're doing to help recruiting companies, it's perfect. You know what I mean? What's another one?
What's the number? Go ahead.
Yep. Music. Those of you who are songwriters, okay, if you reach out to music supervisors of TV shows on LinkedIn, most of the time they reply if you send a follow-up email.
Okay.
Super hack.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's good to establish that LinkedIn isn't for every niche, which is good. Correct. Because it's exactly what we preach. And if you're in like the home service niche like us, stay the hell off of LinkedIn and focus on a medium that is actually relevant to where your clients are searching. So for us, a lot of people, more than you would think, search for lawn care marketing companies.
Right.
And, roofers might do the same. And I had a pressure washer guy in one of the pressure washing group I was in ask, he actually posted a digital marketing group. And I was like, weird. Like, I was surprised, like, you're not getting swarmed right now. And I was like, hey, I'm in the green industry. We own an agency, but if you search lawn care marketing company, like we come up. So, maybe you should do that, but for pressure washing. And he goes, and like, I literally was just like, I'm not going to solicit my services to you because that's not my style. But I also don't think posting in you're like going to the lion's den and being like, hey, I am a lamb. Like, don't do that, man, because no one's going to be genuine.
That's so funny.
So I was just like, I was like, I'm not even going to solicit this guy because then it just makes me look disingenuous. Like, you're in a marketing group. Of course I'm going to like, nah, just, go look it up yourself. But
if you have a great personality, here's another thing. Most people will, if I'm going to do outreach on LinkedIn, can I just do it from my company page? I could just reach out to, they don't have to see my face or anything, right? Okay, common sense. First of all, you can't DM anybody from a company page on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Basics 101.
Do you want to know a secret that I do?
What's up?
Okay, so when a thing that we preach is engage in online forums. No solicitation, just engage, post like very long form, helpful content, helps people out. And there's a website out there called Lawn Site, and I engage on this site all the time. Now, my username,
it's cool.
Nobody has like their actual name as their username. My username is Evergrow Marketing, the name of our agency. But the picture, the profile picture is me. So when someone engages with me visually, they're engaging with a person, but the name of it is the name of my company. So I don't have to even solicit. Just by someone seeing my response, they know who they're talking to. They also know that there's an actual face behind it and not just a logo.
I like that. That's a really smart move.
Yeah. So I know you got a hard stop, but there's one more thing I wanted to ask you, which was the original title of this episode. Now that it might change, which was we preach establishing credibility through going, building a reputation for your brand by going through industry publications. Like, for us, we have actual print magazines that we've been in, and then like for landscaping business owners. And then we've also been in industry podcasts as kind of marketing experts. And we preach that to establish your reputation. How, if someone hasn't done that, they're a nobody. Like they could die and there's going to be nothing on their epitaph.
That's sad, bro.
Yeah. How
he says, he says that stuff. And I'm like, man, people say I'm dark. He comes out here with some of that stuff. I'm like, I don't know, man.
I'm picking up what you put down.
Yeah. We got to start from the lowest, possible positions, because we can't give our listener any excuse out. All right.
Yeah.
One, how important, I'm not wearing my ring today. Oh, I hope Lauren doesn't see this. How important is it for you to establish credibility, and how do you do it if you don't have any? And especially if you're reaching out on LinkedIn, people are going to look you up. Like,
it's a lot easier than people think. They overthink this one. Let me give you a secret here. Everybody wants the same thing at the end of the day, and that's attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really sad about TikTok and why this also works and it applies to LinkedIn? There are literally 17-year-old kids on TikTok who did nothing more than hold a camera, their phone, and pretend it's a microphone in a busy street, and then have their friend record them asking strangers questions. All you did there was capture attention. All you need to do is find out what your audience considers worthy attention. So if, for example, let's say you are a digital marketer and you work with dentists. And dentists really respect, let's say they respect the Dental Hygiene magazine. Call the Dental Hygiene magazine and say that you want to do and maybe you're in high school. You're doing a high school class project on what it's like to be in the dental industry, and ask if you can come to the office, take a picture, or do a Zoom call or whatever. Now you have a picture with the founder or whatever of the Dental Hygiene magazine. And now when you post that on your LinkedIn, guess what people are going to automatically assume, even though it's not necessarily 100% true, that you have credibility in the dental niche industry.
Mm-hmm. That's
how you start.
That's some Jedi Sith shit right there.
That's some crazy wild snake shit, right?
Yeah.
So you got to do what you got to do in the beginning, y'all. Like, there's no way around that unless you buy it. So you could also buy a shout out from an influencer. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a lot harder to believe if you're a 17-year-old kid, right?
Yeah, a baby face guru. That's what I call them. Yeah, we actually got in magazines. We're also a consultant with NALP, the National Association of Landscape.
Oh, that's perfect.
Sorry, I muted my mic. Yeah, it's a touchscreen mic, so I hit the mute button all the time. And so like we've already established like a very big presence, but it wasn't easy. We didn't buy our way in or anything like that, and we did it legitimately. But there are other avenues to getting
Just
known.
do what's in your comfort zone and don't let anybody judge you. Stand by what you did. Only do it if it feels in alignment with your core values, and don't let anybody judge you. Right? I have, like, for example, for me, I pay influencers all the time. No shame in it for me, because at the level I'm at now, it makes sense. It's just cutting, collapsing time at this point. So
cool. Well, Kevin, I know we got a hard stop here, so I think we'll end it off with, tell us a little bit about how you can be found, and yeah.
allapproach.com. Feel free to hit us up. Also, if you just want to connect with me one-on-one, shoot me a message. LinkedIn plug is my handle on all socials.
Yeah. And you also have a group on Facebook.
Yes.
Called Marketing Agency Owners. With the two fire emojis.
Fire emojis. Why are you reading my mind now?
Yeah, you'll find myself and Kevin in that group as moderators.
Yes.
So, Kevin's an owner, but yeah, that's all we had for this episode. Anything else, guys?
Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate we do too. Like always.
Cool.
All right, Kevin. Everybody, we'll see you later.
See you next time.
See ya.